What's up, YouTube? So I'm gonna come at you today with another short video on the market and the economy, kind of an update. If you haven't watched my previous recession video a few weeks ago, well, here it is. The second quarter results have come out for 2022, and by all measures of the word, we are now in a recession, although politically that doesn't seem to be the case with the administration. The fact is the GDP has declined again, and we're all feeling it. It's one of those things where you don't need a thermometer to know it's hot outside. We all feel it in our pocketbooks whenever we go to the store to buy groceries. We know that things aren't right. So I want to follow up my last video. Last video I gave you some tips on how to maybe adjust your market or pay attention to your market, and make sure that you try to lean out your business, keep everything tight. This is not necessarily the right time to spend a lot of money and expand, because things are probably going to get tougher before they get easier. But now, what I want to talk about today is another little tactic that I'm using. It might be controversial to the idea of a recession, but another thing we got going on now that is not completely independent of that is we're seeing record inflation, and we're seeing with that inflation, we're seeing the Federal Reserve try to stop that or slow that inflation by increasing rates at a record velocity. They haven't increased the rates by a record amount yet, but they're doing it at a very frequent velocity to try to curb that inflation. But in my opinion, and in the opinion of many, it's too little too late. They are trying to tap the brakes to prevent a collision when we're likely going to have the collision anyway. They need to slam on the brakes. But anyway, what I'm doing is a little bit different, because in an inflationary environment, the best thing you can do to protect yourself from inflation is debt. Which sounds backwards, but if you think about it this way, if you buy, let's say you buy a house today for $100,000, inflation at 9%, even if the value of that house doesn't appreciate, the price is going to go up by 9%, from 100,000 to 109,000 to 118,000, or I don't know the math, but don't have a calculator in front of me. But if you're buying it at today's price, for an interest rate that is less than inflation, then you are at least hedging against inflation. You're at least going to keep your money solid. So one of the things I'm doing with my business is we are actually growing at a rate we haven't done before, and we're doing it through careful leasing and finance options to increase the amount of equipment we have. And the reason why we're doing that is because it's my goal in 2024 to gross over $1 million. So that is almost a 10x multiple of where we'll finish this year. This year will be probably roughly in the 160 to 170,000 range, and that's with a sold one truck and a rogue shop. And now in 2 years, I want to break the million threshold. So in order to do that, we can't do that with our current small size. So just in the past few weeks, we've financed a truck that we'll be using for rug deliveries and janitorial stuff. And I just recently leased an auto scrubber that's going to speed up our VCT efficiency. Now, the auto scrubber is not expensive, $3,000 or $4,000. But by leasing it, I get two benefits. I buy it for a price today, locked in, instead of an inflationary price in the future. And I'm able to tax deduct each month's lease payments throughout the year. So obviously I'm not a CPA, so don't do anything I tell you. But anyway, my goal through this recession is to grow just enough to maintain steady growth through this difficult period. And when we get out of it, I will be staged and ready. And hopefully, I don't want to say hopefully, but along the way, there may be some competition failures that aren't able to maintain their velocity through the inflationary period and through the recession, and my business will continue to grow that way as well. So keep in mind, my tips from the first video hold true. If you really want to make it strongly through a recession, you want to make sure you make very critical decisions on your growth and on your expenditures. Keep yourself lean, but at the same time, it's not a bad idea to take action through this inflationary cycle as well, because inflation is likely not going to go down much. As long as the Fed keeps just barely tapping the brakes, inflation will continue, and even if it were to decrease, it would still be well over our target inflation of 2%. It's going to be a while before, it's going to take several years before it gets back to that point. So protect yourself from inflation by holding good debt and good investments, and protect yourself from the recession by holding good customers that are recession proof and keeping your business lean and effective. And I look forward to your comments. I want to keep these little business tips and market videos going. And you're going to hear more about our March to $1 million as well. I want to start a video series talking about how we're going to do that as well. But for today, just a little short video, an update to our recession video. And I think I'm going to try to drop these market type videos on Monday. So let me know what you think about that. And as it is Monday morning and I got to get to work. So here we go.